So, what's it gonna be? Ant-Man.
After the events of Avengers Endgame, Ant-Man is living an idyllic life, until an experiment his daughter is working on goes awry, sending him and his allies into the quantum realm. There, they must regroup and escape, but someone else is trapped in the realm and is intent on stopping them. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is a fun and entertaining entry into the MCU, but also a very disappointing one. As a superhero movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is a formidable one. It follows the usual beats and the traditional format, but the result of doing so is that in many ways it does feel like just another superhero movie. It's also disappointing that Ant-Man's unique powers are underutilized in the movie, and because of the CG environments and the lack of real-world comparison, the fun and awe factors of his powers are non-existent too. Plus, the title of the movie is a little misleading. The Wasp, as played by Evangeline Lilly, has very little to say or do in the movie. There are numerous points in the movie where she seems to be there purely to save the day. She has very few lines, there is no storyline dedicated to her, and she is often relegated to standing behind the other characters out of the way. It's very disappointing considering her significant roles in the prior movies. One of the big elements of this movie is the unveiling of the quantum realm. This is something that has been teased in prior movies and briefly explored too, but in Quantumania the movie finally shows us the full extent of it. Sadly, the quantum realm is not all that interesting. It is conveyed almost entirely out of decent CGI with false lighting, giving the entire movie a fantastical, unreal look and feel. It is also inhabited by various characters and creatures and beings, some of which look like humans, others look like aliens and bacteria. One of the more frustrating elements of the movie is the lack of explanation behind any of it. There is no reason given for why the inhabitants look the way they do, or how they thrive and survive in the quantum realm. Considering there are so many highly intelligent scientific minds amongst the main characters, very few questions are asked concerning these elements. Not helping matters are the supporting characters. The many characters living in the quantum realm are not all that interesting. Many of them are reduced to bit parts portraying stereotypical rebels and comedic characters. Bill Murray, for example, shows up for one scene in the movie and is never seen or heard from again. One gelatinous blob of a character serves no purpose beyond a poor joke about lacking holes, and William Jackson Harper portrays a character whose sole purpose is to chime in every now and then with a predictable joke concerning his telepathic powers, which also aren't explained. It's incredibly disappointing that the main subject and focus of the movie is overlooked in favour of action and comedy that is not particularly outstanding. The entire movie feels like a tease, constantly building up to key points only to not answer them or not address them in a significant way. The first half of the movie, for example, has characters hide information for unknown, frustrating reasons. And there are vague, annoying conversations between individuals who are addressing the impending reveal of the big bad by calling him he and him. Few of the characters in the movie speak or converse like real people with real stakes and real situations, and it grows tiresome very quickly. What does help bolster the movie is the villain. Kang the Conqueror, portrayed by Jonathan Majors, reprising his role of Kang from Loki, is a great new addition to the MCU. He makes Kang an intriguing, intimidating figure. He's a man with an agenda and a goal, which he keeps to himself, but he has a determination to him that Majors excellently conveys. His powers and abilities are a little underexplained. He clearly has a lot of physical and mental strength, but what his suit and tech is and isn't capable of is sometimes unclear. For example, in one scene he seemingly manipulates people using telekinesis, only to never again do it in the movie. It's never explained why or how he did it in the first place, or why he doesn't do it again, especially when it would make more sense to do it. Paul Rudd, meanwhile, is good as the titular Ant-Man. He continues to be a very entertaining and engaging character with an innate likability factor to him. This time around, much of his concern is on rescuing and escaping with his daughter Cassie, who is now played by Kathryn Newton. They have a good relationship together, him as a struggling but caring father, and her as the rebellious but well-intentioned daughter. In regards to Cassie, she has somehow developed a super intelligent scientific mind with no explanation, and she has somehow been welcomed into the fold with her own Ant-Man suit. Catherine is perfectly fine in the role, but she can sometimes be more of a plot device than a fully formed character. Kang the Conqueror is not the only villain in the movie. Corey Stoll returns as Cross, this time as a deformed killing machine called MODOK. Fans of the comic books might dislike this element of the movie. MODOK is essentially a joke, constantly saying and doing things for the sake of a laugh, and it works. Corey Stoll makes MODOK a very fun and peculiar character, and in certain moments unusually emotional. His return works far better than expected, but fans of MODOK in the comic books may dislike this take on the character, as well as the fact that Cross is not usually the one who becomes MODOK. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is a fun and entertaining movie. It has some decent action scenes as well as some perfectly fine comedic beats. It's a movie that suffers the more you think about it. Its story is a little on the simplistic side, and its characters don't always have a lot to say or do. Visually, there are some stunning vistas and some great artistic moments, but the whole movie has a fake, unnatural vibe to it, robbing much of the movie of its believability. The Quantum Realm is not the most interesting location in the MCU thanks to a lack of information or explanation about it, and a lack of compelling inhabitants. Kang the Conqueror is the one truly successful part of this movie, which is good because we'll be seeing a lot more of him.